Level 1. The grounded. Someone criticizes your work. You consider it, take what's useful, leave what isn't. You don't replay it for 3 days. This is secure attachment to self. Psychologists call it unconditional self-regard. Your sense of worth is not attached to performance, approval, or comparison. It exists independently. You can be wrong without being worthless, rejected without being unlovable, outperformed without being less than. You take up the space you're in without calculating whether you've earned it. You speak in groups without pre-editing every sentence. You exist in rooms without auditing your right to be there. Most people have never consistently lived here, not because they're broken, because almost nothing in modern life builds this, and almost everything erodes it. Level 2 is where most people live, functional on the outside, quietly negotiating worth on the inside. Level 2. The comparer. You feel okay about yourself until you see someone doing better. Then okay evaporates. Social comparison is hardwired. Leon Festinger's 1954 social comparison theory established that humans instinctively evaluate themselves against others. It was a survival mechanism for gauging standing in the tribe. The problem is, your tribe used to be 150 people you knew personally. Now, it's 7 billion curated highlight reels available 24 hours a day. Every time you open Instagram, your brain runs an automatic comparison audit. Body, success, relationship, lifestyle. And unlike the 150-person tribe where you occasionally came out ahead, the curated feed is designed to always show you someone doing better. Your comparison instinct was never built for this volume. You achieve something and feel good for approximately 4 minutes before finding someone who achieved it bigger. The goalpost moves the moment you reach it. That's not ambition. That's a worth measuring system with a broken baseline. Level 3 is where the internal critic gets a full-time job. Level 3. The self-critic. You finished the presentation. Everyone said it went well. You spent the drive home cataloging every stumble, every awkward pause, every moment someone looked slightly disengaged. The inner critic at this level is not occasional. It is constant. It has opinions about everything: how you spoke, how you looked, whether you laughed too loudly, whether you were too quiet, whether you took up too much space or not enough. Neuroscience calls this the default mode network in overdrive. When your brain has no external task, it turns inward. And in an insecure nervous system, inward means self-evaluation that almost always produces a negative verdict. You deflect compliments because accepting them feels dishonest. You work harder than most people not because you love the work, but because effort is the only thing temporarily quieting the voice that says you're not enough. The exhaustion at this level is real. Running on a deficit of self-worth is metabolically expensive. You are spending enormous energy just managing the gap between who you are and who you think you should be. Level 4 is where insecurity stops being internal and starts shaping every relationship you have. Level 4. The performer. You don't know how you feel about something until you know how other people feel about it. Your sense of worth has been fully outsourced. Compliments feel like oxygen. Criticism feels like verdict. You have become extraordinarily skilled at reading rooms, what this person needs you to be, what that group will reward, and adjusting accordingly. You are likable everywhere and known nowhere. Relationships at this level have a hidden transaction. You give time, energy, help, agreement, and the currency you're paid in is approval. When the approval stops, you don't just feel hurt, you feel erased, because the approval wasn't just nice to have, it was the evidence you were using to prove you existed at the right level. A 2019 study in the Journal of Personality found that people with contingent self-esteem, worth tied to external outcomes, showed significantly higher cortisol reactivity to failure, higher rates of anxiety, and lower relationship satisfaction across every metric measured. You are performing a version of yourself constantly. The performance is exhausting, and somewhere underneath it, the real version is waiting to find out if it's acceptable. Level 5 is where the performance has run so long, the person underneath it is hard to find. Level 5. The collapsed.
You stopped trying for things before you could fail at them. Not consciously, you just stopped seeing them as options. The job felt too good for someone like you. The relationship felt like something other people had. The goal felt like the kind of thing that works out for people who are fundamentally different from you in some way you can't quite name but feel completely certain about. Psychologists call this self-concept threat response. When the gap between who you are and who you need to be to pursue something feels too large to cross, the brain eliminates the option rather than endure the exposure. You don't experience it as giving up, you experience it as being realistic. The cruelest thing about this level is that the insecurity has become self-fulfilling. By not trying, you collect evidence of absence, no achievements, no risks taken, no proof of capability, which the inner critic uses to confirm what it always said. The system is closed. The verdict keeps being reached by a jury that was never impartial. You are not too much or too little. You are someone who was told by a person, a family, a system, a culture, or 100 small moments that you were, and you believed it and built a life around protecting yourself from having that confirmed again.
The payoff. Insecurity is not a personality trait. It is a learned response to an environment that made self-worth feel conditional. Every child is born without it. It is installed by caregivers who attached love to performance, by peers who made belonging feel earned, by systems that ranked and compared and graded before a nervous system was developed enough to hold the weight of that judgment without it becoming identity. The research on this is consistent. Self-worth cannot be built from the outside in. Achievements don't cure it. Validation doesn't fix it. Every piece of external evidence gets processed through the same broken measuring system and comes out insufficient. What works is the opposite direction, not proving worth, decoupling worth from proof entirely. Therapy, specifically schema therapy and internal family systems, has the strongest evidence base for this work. Not because you're broken, because the wiring was laid down before you had a choice, and rewiring requires deliberate intervention. You were not born insecure. You were taught. What is taught can be untaught.
Which level are you at, honestly? Drop it below. And if this described the voice in your head, you're not alone in there. That voice has a level too. Next video breaks down every self-sabotage level the same way. Right there. See you in it.